All right, guys, in today's video, we are going through the quickest possible way for you to write a really effective optimized resume and LinkedIn profile in under an hour. So for those of you who are new here, my name's Katie. I am a coach here with Career Sprout, where on average, it takes us about 63 days to grow somebody's salary by about $37,000. Now, one of the biggest misconceptions out there is that having your resume will get you a job, or it'll validate your salary bump, whatever the case may be. That's not actually true. And a lot of people end up spending way too much time on their resume because they think it's going to make or break things. So today we're going to go through some of the myths that are out there, and then the exact process that you can use, or that our students use, I should say, to write your resume very quickly, write your LinkedIn profile very quickly, and you'll know you have it right because once you do, recruiters and hiring managers will start proactively reaching out to you. That's our litmus test. So let's dive in. All right, guys, let's dive in here to the process for building your resume and your LinkedIn profile in an hour or less in some cases. So let's start here. This is what most people do. You put together a resume, you make sure it's one page, you apply to hundreds of jobs, you tell your family and friends you're back on the market, you reach out to everybody on LinkedIn, let them know you saw a job posting, tell them why you think you're a great fit, and you essentially beg them to get on a call with you. Here's the secret. That's not the right order. If you start with your resume, you're likely going to waste a lot of time and you're going to endure a lot of ghosting from recruiters and hiring managers across the board. So there's one strategy that we use. It's only got 5 steps in it, very simple. And good news is it works every single time we've ever used it. The bad news is it only works if you do it in sequential order. Now, your resume is actually step 2 of the process. And that's where a lot of people get tripped up. And that's why it takes people so long to write a resume, so long to write their LinkedIn profile. So if you do step 1 first, your resume and your LinkedIn profile can typically be done within about an hour or so. So it all starts with knowing your end goal and becoming very granular about that goal so we can reverse engineer the path to getting you there. And we like to use an analogy to hopefully make this make a little bit more sense. Let's say you're in California and your buddy asks you to drive all the way over to New York. Cool. You can't use a map. You just have to drive there. Probably is going to be pretty easy because you know if you just drive east, a little bit north, you're probably going to get to New York. And you're right. But ask yourself, would you be taking the fastest route? Probably not. You're probably going to take an inefficient route. You're probably going to hit detours along the way, probably get stuck in avoidable traffic, make some stops you shouldn't have made, but you're eventually going to get to New York. Now, where you end up in New York, who knows? You might end up in Buffalo. You might end up in some parts of the city. Nobody really knows. Now, what if that same person said, hey, I want you to drive from LA to the M&M store in Manhattan and you can use your phone? Well, now all you do is you plug it into your GPS, I like Waze, and it's going to show you the fastest possible route. It's going to show you cops along the way. It's going to show you traffic. It's going to get you there quicker. And you're going to know what turns to make, what routes to go, and what routes you need to avoid, more importantly. So how this relates to your career now. Ask yourself, how many detours have you taken? How many companies have you worked for? Maybe you're in one right now that didn't really serve you. How many times have you been stuck either not getting opportunities, promotions, pay raises across the board? Most people, once they feel these frustrations, especially now with layoffs, they say, hey, I just need to get to New York. Really, we need to do is know what your M&M store is. This is where the strategy comes in. Once you have that clarity about what your M&M store is, what your career path is, you don't have to write a resume about you. You write your resume about the specific destination that you are trying to get to. So you'll know exactly what to put on your resume. You know how to articulate your strength, your value, the impact that you make, and recruiters and hiring managers are actually going to start reaching out to you. And this happens even when you switch into a brand new career, or brand new industry. If you've done it properly, recruiters and hiring managers will reach out to you. Here are a couple of folks. Wesley's a great example. This is very relevant now. He got laid off a couple of years ago. The company was downsizing when the world kind of turned upside down there for a second, and a second turning into a couple of years now. But when his company downsized, because he had a really powerful resume, a really powerful LinkedIn profile, he had people consistently reaching out to him. So he was able to actually grow from $125,000 to $250,000 after a layoff. Actually, it was a little bit more than that, 7 figures in total comp. And it took him 25 days to do it because he had this optimized properly and he had a flow of people reaching out to him. Similar to Zach, he was able to get to 7 figures within 4 years of graduating his first boot camp, because he had enough offers lined up after boot camp for him to really strategically negotiate equity in the company that he ended up going to. So very important for you to have this done properly so that it gives you added options. All right, so again, you're going to know this is right because recruiters and hiring managers are actually going to start coming to you. And they're going to be coming to you with the exact roles that you want. They're not, if you're looking for, senior product manager role, they're not coming to you with, director of operation roles. They're coming to you with senior product manager roles. So before writing your resume, before you sit down to write anything about you, you need to first reverse engineer the path to your career nirvana. That's your M&M story. And once you do that, hey, this is my destination. This is where I want to end up 5, 10, 20 years down the road. You reverse engineer that path. What are the next jobs that you have to take to get to wherever it is you're going? Let's say you're a product manager and your goal is to be a chief product officer, 20 years from now, 10 years from now. Awesome. What roles do you need to accept in order to get there? Probably, if you're not a product manager yet, probably going to be an associate product manager, then a product manager, then a senior product manager, then a director of product, then, VP of product. And so whatever your next rung is along that path, really zero in, really focus in just that next role that is going to move you closer to your M&M store. Then you want to research about 20 job descriptions for that role. Let's say your next step is going to be product manager. Awesome. Go look for 20 product manager job descriptions that are out there and study them. You want to identify the repeated keywords in the experience and the responsibility section, and then make sure they show up on your resume and LinkedIn profile. That is the secret here. When you do this pre-work and you really take time to identify what you want and then what the companies are looking for, what companies across the board are looking for in a product manager, in an engineer, in a front-end developer, in a designer, whatever the case may be, that is how you build your resume. And you will have, we just have students build it out in an Excel sheet, very simple. Here are all of the keywords that they were looking for, the keywords that were repeated, and then right next to it, they put out, they'll write examples of experiences they have that either match it exactly or transferable experience, along with the quantifiable accomplishments that go along with those experiences. Very important. So once you do this, your resume essentially will write itself. If you do the pre-work properly and you know exactly what it is you're aiming for, it's going to write itself. Again, 95% of that information that you add to your resume is going to come from the job descriptions you research. And the more descriptions you read, the easier it is to notice those patterns of what's being repeated. And if it's repeated, it is important. I promise you that. So again, if you go through this process properly, what your resume is going to look like is essentially the job descriptions, the skills, the keywords, the experience across multiple job descriptions. You're taking it and then you're adding your own data to it, where it's saying, yeah, I've got experience doing this, and here was the accomplishment, the quantifiable accomplishment from when I gained this experience. I was able to do this and it resulted in X amount of dollars, X amount of profit, X amount of percentage of increase, or X percentage of savings, whatever the case may be. So important for you to do that pre-work first. We've got plenty of other videos on the specifics, the nitty-gritty of actually writing your resume. So feel free to subscribe if you need stuff like that. Shoot us an email if you need specific resources that you're not seeing. And then we're actually I asked our coaches to set aside some time. We're going to do free resume reviews. I know there's a lot of kind of fear in the market right now. We will do free resume reviews, probably about 10 of them, give or take. If you send your email into info@careersprout.com, one of our coaches will look at it, give you some personalized feedback, and you can take it and again, make sure that when you submit those, you do that pre-work first. Send us the job description that you are applying for, or you're hoping to apply for, and your resume, and we'll give you some feedback there. So with that, I hope you guys are having a good one. If you need added career transition, promotion, pay raise type resources, feel free to subscribe, shoot us an email. We can send over specific resources, and hope you guys are having a good one. Talk soon.